Hi, this is Alex from FederalJack.com in Hack, Miami, and I was arrested here for filming the police. They erased my footage, but I got it back. Here's my story. So we came out here when we had read that there was going to be martial law declared on Miami Beach for the Memorial Day weekend. It was in the Miami Herald and the New Times talking about how every year was worse than the last in regard to police brutality during that time, because they have a hip-hop festival that attracts people from all over the country who come down, and they're primarily of the African-American persuasion, so they are rather heavy-handed in their tactics. I saw the cops messing with someone, and I was about 10 feet away, and I took out my video camera and started filming them. And it was a bunch of cops from Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, the local police departments, in a multi-jurisdictional federalized task force. And well, the moment I saw the t-shirts, I started filming them. And they told me to turn off my camera, which I didn't.
Yo, my man, you're pissing me off with that fucking camera. Go ahead and turn it off. Thank you.
Two officers put their hands on me. One grabbed each side of my arm and lifted me up and carried me away, and then I was thrown over one of these concrete pillars, and then they choked me so I couldn't say anything, and they kept going through my flyers and paperwork to figure out who I was with, and they already knew I had been with FederalJack.com.
I'm being illegally searched. Shut the fuck up! You're under fucking arrest. If you want the law, you fucking understand? Get your money back, dude. Is that FederalJack.com? Internet fucking law is up to family. If you want the law, you get your money back. Yeah, FederalJack.com.
Once I was in custody, the officers, one of the officers that was processing the detainees, started asking me questions, and I said I didn't have to answer any questions of hers.
What kind of questions were they asking you?
They were asking me who I was with, but there was a bunch of people from FederalJack.com that I was out here with, started coagulating outside the area, and I was able to communicate with them because there was a fence. And they asked me, who were they, who were we with, why were we filming? I just said I didn't have to talk to them, and she erased she called an assistant over to help her erase the footage, and then put the camera back in my bag as if she had won.
Did she say anything to you?
Oh, she's like, yeah, you got to tell me you got to tell me who they are, because I'm the police. She actually said that. I wish I had my camera for that. She actually said it.
And then did she tell you, I'm going to delete your footage if you don't talk, or did she just do it right?
She just did it. She tried to do it herself, and then called over, someone who's good at computers who works with the police to help her erase my camera. I wasn't sure she had erased it until after I got out, but when I opened it, I saw that it was erased. I wasn't surprised. It was kind of disheartening because I didn't immediately think forensic recovery, and then as soon as that thought crossed our mind, we ran through the software tools and got it right back. So even though the cops deleted my footage, I was able to get it back, and I could show you guys how to do it. So if it happens to you, you could get your footage back later on.
What happened to the police officer that arrested you?
The officer who arrested me, Detective Richard Anastasi from the Miami Beach Police Department, had a long internal affairs rap sheet. Was shortly fired from the police department due to an unrelated incident, but was then arrested by the FBI for kidnapping and extortion after he kidnapped a carter, who turned out to be an FBI informant.
Sounds like a crazy stuff.
It's stuff you can't make up. The article's it's all documented, and the New Times did a great job documenting the whole story. And essentially, he, for whatever reason, was having carded merchandise sent to his house. And once he was hard up for cash after losing his detective gig, he kidnapped the drop guy who was picking up the bags from his house, and had a friend of his who did Forex scams hold 100 grand up, hold an assault rifle to his head and demand 100 grand to let him go. And he was a drop boy. They gave him $500 and tortured him for the whole night and shook him down over the next 3 days. Turns out the drop boy was also an FBI informant in an unrelated criminal case. So he's calling up his handlers, going, is this part of being an informant for you guys? And the FBI put a stop to that and arrested the guy 1 block from here where I was arrested. So
your police officer that arrested you was arrested over there?
Yeah, 1 block away. Because the FBI called him up and said, "We've got your money. Come meet us. We've got the 100 grand." He's like, all right. And then as soon as he showed up, they arrested him. And he was going to face life, but he pled out to 5 and serves 2. So it goes to show, if you use stolen credit cards, you could serve 20 years. But if you, like Albert Gonzalez, who was also arrested in that hotel right there, so you get 20 years for that. And if you just kidnap someone from a carding ring, you'll only get 2 years. So it started off as an exercise in just the First Amendment in journalism, ended up taking us on a whole thing where I ended up learning how to do forensic recovery, was able to sort of build a career around it, and then simultaneously watch the cops who broke the law and took me in, watch them get arrested for kidnapping people who are also related to the same hacking industry I was in, and it was pretty hilarious. At the end of the day, I could say LOL. He saw that the footage had been erased off the SD card. A friend reminded me that it was formatted in a FAT32 partition and was no different than any other hard drive. So I was able to just download the test disk software and the FederalJack software, which are free open source tools that do forensic recovery, and ran it right on the card. And it's a real step-by-step forensic recovery by numbers type of software suite, and it's available to anyone.